So much time has passed, and I think for moments that I can finally be free from this mess. However, it is foolish to think that's the case. For whatever reason, I keep on getting more of these damn tapes, and I have to keep on watching them. I can't escape. Yet another one came recently. I just figured to keep on skipping it and just know that I must watch it in post-haste. It had Nick Jr. written on it, and it was in green ink this time, the usual size it's been. I put it in my VCR when I got the opportunity, and this time the tape immediately started on Joey's lunch. And the group that we got this time was the deli sandwich, the 2 cheese sticks, Gouda and Swiss, and plum. This group seemed much less evil than the past 2. Deli sandwich is still disgusting to me, however, the others are perfectly fine. None will probably top my PBJ group, though. Them I had no initial problem with before this whole mess. Anyway, the whole thing played out as normal, where the cheese played soccer with Plum. He seemed pretty witty and was never hurt by it somehow. And then after that, they closed the lunchbox. It started walking off screen, and Swiss asked me if I had any milk today. Sorry, but I don't drink the shit. I won't submit. You don't need it. However, just of course, once it seemed like the bumper was just gonna end, it started playing in reverse. The lunchbox came back into the center of the screen, it opened up back up, and they were scurrying around backwards. Almost as if they were being forced to do this and redo what they just did. It then stopped and went back to normal at the point where they're supposed to introduce themselves, which they did again. However, when they announced when it was Gouda versus Swiss, the two zoomed into each other and started exchanging blows super fast. They were taunting and remarking at each other's moves. They zoomed up with a powerful aura around both of them, much like in Dragon Ball, and they were kicking with their cheese stick ends and throwing whips at each other. It was actually pretty awesome. I was on the edge of my seat. I was glad to be genuinely entertained with this rather than horrified for once. The two battled for a couple of minutes in the sky and throwing lightning quick blows as the deli sandwich and Plum looked from above, and Plum was excitingly hopping around cheering for them. They then zoomed back down to the ground near the lunchbox with a massive blow and knocked deli sandwich off his feet and sent Plum flying a bit. Gouda was on the ground, in pain. I then started to feel a bit bad for them. Gouda was clearly struggling to get up and moaning. Swiss just looked down at him and started taunting him. She called him weak and asked if it was done already. She then went over to the other two, pushed deli sandwich aside, and then kicked Plum into the pit Gouda was lying in. Plum landed on Gouda, and I could hear what sounded like a spine breaking, even though it's a cheese stick. Gouda let out a painful shriek that made me jump when I heard it and hurt my ears. He then took a deep exhale. I couldn't tell if he was dead or not. However, Swiss then started going after Plum, kicking him around. She was talking about how she must be strong enough to defeat any menace that comes to them as she was kicking and comboing Plum around. I don't know why she is taking on these innocents, but who knows what's innocent anymore here. She then kicked Plum so hard that he went soaring way away from the set. However, the camera followed Plum as he was flying, and then I saw PBJ. She was walking along, humming, minding her own distance, and then she stopped and turned around going like, as if she could hear something. And then we see Plum flying in even closer. PBJ then let out her stock high-pitched little girl scream as she realized what was coming and that it was too late to get away. Plum then collided with her, taking off the top of PBJ, presumably killing her, and then flew off. Plum was not seen then. I couldn't tell if he was dead either. We then cut back to where the others were standing, and Swiss said something menacing about Plum and Gouda. However, as she was distracted, Deli Sandwich jumped up, opened up his bread openings, and then crushed Swiss inside of him, killing her, smushing her. Deli Sandwich then huffed a bit, and then he proceeded to walk off. He ended up in the backstage area, this mysterious part I've been seeing for the past few videos. And the two vegetables from before were standing on guard. They approached him as if they were going to stop him from progressing, however he immediately pushed them aside. He then started wrecking up the stage, much like a certain rebel from before that I remember. Banana, that sinister Banana, then came and told him to cut it out. Deli Sandwich yelled no at her and told her that he's not going to deal with this anymore. Banana then threatened Deli Sandwich, which caused him to go after her and try to attack her. However, Banana then slid on the floor, tripping Deli Sandwich over her. Deli Sandwich then proceeded to get up and turn around to go after her again, but Banana immediately swung herself forward, impaling Deli Sandwich with her top end. She then threw him off of her. There was a massive hole in the middle of Deli Sandwich. It seemed as though he died easily. I was a bit confused, but then a cold sweat immediately hit me when I remembered this is exactly how my own food looked like after it was attacked when watching the first video. I resisted the urge to vomit. The screen then went to static for a little bit. It lasted another minute. And I thought the tape was either broken or done. However, it then cut back to white, and the camera panned down. It was extremely bright light that seemed too intense that the TV should be able to handle, and it was hurting my eyes. However, it seemed to eventually fade away, revealing all of the past foods I've seen before in all of these videos. Well, except for Banana, that is. Otherwise, everyone was there. Even PBJ, Juice Box, Peppermint, the disgusting ham sandwich, everyone, even chicken, the leftover chicken, disgusting, but he was there too, and they all tried. They all seemed confused also and scattering around and kind of talking within each other. We then heard a calling sound, and they all stopped and looked up in the same direction. I could faintly hear what sounded like a choir playing against the bright white empty sky, and it was there where text started appearing. I thought I could faintly hear a voice speaking in some unknown language, but I couldn't tell. This info made me sick, however, but I felt it was best that I knew it. It was here that it was revealed that the videos I've been seeing here, the ones I've been explaining to you, these were meant to be the original Joey's Lunch commercials. These were it. And apparently they have aired on TV before. However, when they were aired, it caused most kids to go psycho crazy, lose their minds as if they were brainwashed and controlled by something. The psycho kids killed many and carried their lunchboxes around while doing it. They then committed suicide after they regained their own consciousness. You may be wondering, how have you never heard this? And it turns out it was a big cover-up by Nickelodeon, and whoever is behind all of this, that any trace of evidence that any of this ever happened was erased, and the existence of any of the videos that were made were gotten rid of. I don't know who it is that was sending me these, or how I got a hold of them, or what's going to happen, but I'm almost glad I did. After they learned of this, all of the food looked at each other, but then the video went absolutely berserk, cut to static, several loud noises, flashes of lights, horrific images I could only see for a second but barely make out, and I could hear what sounded like people being dug into and getting killed and screaming. It was insane. I felt like crying. It was just horrifying, and I kind of wanted to shield my eyes from it. I considered running out of the room. However, just as quick as it was happening, it seemed like it ended too, despite feeling like it was an eternity almost. It then showed all of the food before, except instead of the white room, they were all together in the usual set with the lunchbox. They stood together, and they could feel looming over them that the final battle was about to come, and I could feel it too. The tape then cut to blue, and it ended. I had nightmares the other night from this experience. The images had flashed on near the end, and I don't know what's going to happen to them or me or any of this, but I have no choice but to continue pursuing through. I must see this till the end.